this is Jennifer. Thank you for joining me as we take a walk through the recipes that have built the culinary foundation of my family. Hi there. Today on Pope's Plates, we are going to make a family favorite, balsamic chicken. So the chicken that I am cutting up was actually still kind of frozen when I started to cook. And so I cut it with a knife, kind of in some uniform shapes. I don't always do that. Most of the time it isn't frozen when I cook it, and so it doesn't have to saute as long, but we'll get to the sauteing part later. You're going to want to cut your chicken. You can also use pre-cooked chicken. You're just not going to want to put it into the dish until closer to the end, but we'll get to that part later. Now, this is a recipe that's pretty versatile, and so I usually, for 2 people, make 2 small chicken breasts or maybe a cup and a half of chicken. You can make however much you like. It's completely up to you. If you make more chicken, you're going to want to add more balsamic vinegar. I tend to, when I use cooked chicken, make a marinade of, I would say, half a cup of balsamic vinegar and 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. And I put it in a bag and let it sit while I am preparing the rest of the ingredients. There's obviously a better way to do this, and I'm not sure why I chose to do it this way. Usually I put my chicken into a cup and then put it into a larger Ziploc or storage bag. I don't know why I didn't do it this time. But what you're going to want to do is, once everything is combined, you're going to want to seal the bag, getting out as much air as you can, and then shake it a little bit so that each piece of chicken comes into contact with the marinade. Depending on how long it's going to take you to do everything else, you're probably going to want to put the chicken back on the refrigerator to marinate, because the onion does have to sweat for a while. So I would go ahead and do that. And then you're going to prepare your onion. You'll see that I am using 1 medium red or purple onion. You can use whatever kind of onion that you like. I prefer red onions in really anything that I make for the most part. Just make sure that you use an onion that is kind of strongly flavored. And so you're going to want to avoid using a shallot, because this recipe doesn't have many ingredients and we want the onion to stand out. Because I have a cut on my finger, I am not using the best knife skills. Ironically, I have a cut on my finger because I was also not using the best knife skills earlier. Please be careful. Please do as I say and not as I do, and be really careful when you're cutting. Make sure that your fingers are pulled back better than mine were here. So you're going to chop and dice both halves of the onion. Now we're going to add, I would say, again, depending on your preference, maybe a cup and a half of sliced or largely diced button mushrooms. Kind of, you're looking for a mild flavor. So button mushrooms, or I guess if you really love mushrooms, you could use something like a small portobello, but I like button mushrooms, white mushrooms. And like I said, you're going to either slice them or make a large dice. In a medium-sized saucepan over medium to medium-high heat, you're going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. And then you're going to add the chicken that's been marinating in the balsamic vinegar and the olive oil. Once all of that is coated, then you're going to add your onions. This has absolutely nothing to do with the recipe, but notice my dog Charlie, who is just desperately hoping that we drop something or give him something. Onions are not safe for dogs. I'm not going to give him balsamic vinegar. We don't give him people food except for cucumbers, but I just wanted to point him out. He's so cute. Now, while the chicken and onion are cooking, we're going to bring some water to a boil. Now, you want to follow the package instructions on your egg noodles, because if you have wide or narrow, the cooking time is different and the amount of water that you're going to need is different. Make sure that you salt your water. One thing that Ina Garten says is to salt it so that your water tastes like the ocean. I don't think I put in that much salt, but it definitely adds to the flavor later. Once your chicken and onion is cooked, I would say about 3/4 of the way through, or your onions begin to be translucent but aren't quite translucent yet, you're going to add your mushrooms and your chopped garlic. Now, one thing that I don't love in this, but most of my family do, are sugar snap peas. I would also add them around this time. They don't take very long to cook, as the same with the mushrooms and the garlic. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's prettier when you add them. Once your pasta has completely cooked and drained, you're going to add it back to the pan, either over really low or a warm pan that's not on, and you're going to add your butter. Now, this is one of the things that makes this dish fantastic, is that it has a lot of butter. It also makes it not very good for you. But you're going to add that in, and as a little hint, if your chicken and onions are taking a little longer to cook, if you cover it, it will make it cook a lot faster. At this point, you're going to want to add your chicken, onion, mushroom, and snap peas into your butter and egg noodles so that they combine well. And then, depending on how much you like balsamic vinegar, and I love balsamic vinegar, you want to add a little bit more. I added probably another half, maybe 1/4 of a cup. And I used to make fun of chefs for saying this all the time, and I'm not a chef, but I used to make fun of chefs for saying this all the time. But when they would say, use a good balsamic vinegar, I never thought it made a difference. And in some things, I don't think it makes a huge difference whether you spend a lot of money or get a really organic brand. But good balsamic vinegar is the key to this recipe. I use organic balsamic vinegar. As long as the thicker, the better. I just love balsamic vinegar. I like to top my balsamic chicken with shaved Parmesan cheese, add a little salt and pepper to taste. This is a great meal that goes a really long way. Thanks for visiting Pope's Plates. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Click the notification bell so that you'll know when we have new videos available. And make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Until I see you again, let's get cooking.